Hello everyone, thank you for joining me again today. In this video, I'm going to inspect a very small opening at the top of the differential and make sure that the opening is not obstructed, that it's clear and functions as intended. Now, let's get a very short bit of theory out of the way and then we'll jump into practice. Please excuse my exceptional drawing skills here, but we have the beloved V8 engine at the front, linked to a gearbox, which then continues into a drive shaft, leading to the differential. And what the differential does is it transfers the circular motion of the drive shaft over to the two sides and thus spins the wheels of the vehicle. So that's the purpose of this component. It's full of gears inside. Because these gears move all the time, they need to be lubricated. So there is differential fluid inside, and part of the component is filled with air as well, right? So air, fluid, they're sort of encapsulated in, roughly speaking, a metal sphere. Now that sphere has one sort of entrance and two exits, but these are sealed. There are seals here because the liquid that's inside, we don't want to have it leak out and escape, right? So think of this component as a sealed unit. Now, what is a potential problem here? So when the vehicle moves and these gears inside move, that movement creates friction. Friction generates heat, and heat leads to expansion both for liquids and gases, both for our differential fluid and the air that's inside. So what we have is, once the vehicle starts moving and things heat up, the liquid and air inside the differential start expanding and they build up pressure. Now that pressure needs to escape somewhere, because if it doesn't, if it has no way out, then one of those three seals would likely give way and you would have your differential fluid just leak out from one of these seals. Most often it's this one that gives way first. So this is why the differentials are fitted with a very small opening at the top, which allows that built up pressure inside the differential to escape freely. And essentially, if that opening is clear and it operates properly, your seals are protected, right? They won't they won't be damaged and the fluid won't leak out. So essentially, why is it important to take the time to do this, to check, to take a look at what the state of that opening is? If you don't, and if that opening clogs up, what will end up happening over time is that one of your seals would give way, and you will find yourself having to fix a much more expensive and time-consuming problem, compared to just doing a bit of preventative maintenance and making sure that the breather, that little breather tube at the top of the differential is functioning properly. So that's what we'll be doing today. I hope this makes sense. I hope it justifies why this is important and why we need to do it. So let's get started. Now, what is the plan? Well, I'm going to jack up the car from the back only. The front will stay put to the ground. I have chucked the wheels so that the car doesn't roll away from me forward. I'll jack up the car both sides at the back. I'll then remove this wheel. This is the right-hand side, or the passenger side in North America. And from the wheel well, I should be able to see and potentially access the little differential breather. If I cannot access it, I'm going to have to do it from underneath the car. We'll see how it goes once I have the wheel off. Now, I won't bore you with taking the wheel off, but I'm using one of these 22 millimeter sockets covered in plastic because you don't want to damage your rims. And coincidentally, how convenient, 22 millimeters is the exact size that the jack takes. And I'll be lifting the car both on this side and on the other side in parallel, or little by little. So a little bit here, then I'll move around, lift a little bit here, and so on until I have it fully up in the air. All right, I'll jump to doing this now, and I'll be right back. All right, just finishing off the lifting process. I'll put the safety in, and I'll place another safety further in as well. All right, folks, we're up in the air, the wheel is off, and like most things in life that we do for the first time, they tend to prove to be more time-consuming and more complex than originally anticipated. I think that's the case that I have on my hands here this time around. So let's see. I'm just approaching the wheel well here, trying to give you an idea of where to look and how to spot the breather. Now I'm going to try to get another flashlight here to better illuminate it. There it is. Right there, right in the middle of the screen at the back. Let me see if I can zoom in. There it is. That little cap is the breather. There it is. Now it's quite dirty around there, which tells me that probably, at least in the past, probably even now, I don't know if this is clogged or not, but as it works, as it functions, then it lets off this heated sort of gases, releases the pressure from inside the diff. I'm not surprised that that comes out with a certain level of vapors or grease from inside the diff. So I'm not surprised of the state of things, but what I would need to do, so just zooming out again and now walking backwards. I hope this gives you an idea of where to look. What I would like to do now is clean that area, because when I take the cap off, I don't want any debris to fall inside the diff. So I want to clean that area as well as I could, and only then remove the cap. My plan for cleaning is to first use wet wipes or some sort of a wet cloth to clean around there mechanically, and then I will try to get brake parts cleaner. It's all metal up there. There isn't really any rubber or plastic nearby. It's all metal. I'll get some brake parts cleaner and try to degrease that area as much as possible, and only then I would take the cap off. So let me look for the best way to do that in terms of access, and also we may struggle a bit with filming that part, but I'll see what I can do. Alright, I'll be right back. So I've determined that I won't be able to reach the breather cap from here, from the side of the car, from the wheel well. I will need to get underneath and reach from there. Before I do that, I would like to use one more method of inspecting the breather cap before I start the cleaning process. And for that, I'm going to use this USB endoscope. Now, I'll try to film a video with the endoscope in action. Just keep in mind that this is a flexible sort of piece of wire, and as I stretch it forward, it will be a bit shaky. Yeah, I won't be able to keep this perfectly steady as I'm moving it forward. But the important part is that once we get there, once we get to the cap, that's when you know, hopefully we'll be able to see better what the condition is around the cap and what the area looks like. Also, please keep in mind that this endoscope is extremely low quality. I think it's 640 pixels resolution, so the video will not be will not look good in any way, but I think it will still serve the purpose. So let me pause here, connect the endoscope, and then I'll record what the endoscope sees as I get closer to the cap. Alright, here we are. The pixelation is atrocious, but let's see how far we can get. There's the exhaust pipe. We're now past the exhaust, approaching the diff. You may be able to make up the cap there at the very top. Get closer. There it is. It's about in the center of the screen now. Oops. That's it. This is the cap. Actually, the debris around it is not too much. It's not bad. There is some grease or oil around the corner, but not too bad. This should not be too hard to clean. Let me pull this back. Here's the exhaust again. And we're out. Now, in my experience, every time I go under the car to tinker around, I have found that there is some level of debris falling from the car onto me. And I have found it very helpful to protect my mouth, nose, eyes, and so on. So of course I wear a pair of sort of plastic see-through glasses, clear glasses, and a mask for the mouth and nose so that no debris sort of obstructs my work. In addition, if I know that I'm going to be touching areas that are somewhat dirty with grease, oil, things like that, of course I want to protect my skin and my clothes. And what I do for that is I will take a garbage bag, just a simple kitchen type or office type garbage bag, and I would cut a little bit here from the corner, and then I would also cut a bit of a triangle here. You don't have to be overly precise with this, but you do want to leave a bit of area here that is not cut. When you do that, put your hand through and get your thumb out here and the rest of your fingers out from the bigger opening, and now you're ready to put on a glove. And with this setup, your clothing is protected, your hand is protected, and you can sort of get into tight spaces, move around, and not worry that grease or oil would be left all over your clothes and so on. So with this in place, let's get under the car. Alright, I'm under the car. This is the right rear wheel. If you move in a little bit, you will notice the link for the sway bar connecting onto the arm here. Right above that link is an easy access for your hand to get to where you need to go for the vent cap. Now let me zoom in a bit. Okay, like that. So you could go in through here with your hand. There is the cap right there. You can probably see it. And right now I'm touching it. It is very, very easy access in a sense that it's doable. You still have to be under the car, unfortunately, but it is doable and you can get to it relatively easy. So let me clean and then we'll go from there. I finished the cleaning and I removed the breather. This is what it looks like with the breather out of the differential. You can see the clean area on top there around the opening. Alright, let me show you the breather itself. Quick note on the cleaning. I started with wet wipes, but very quickly it became clear that wet wipes alone won't be able to take the grease off, and I had to go for a piece of cotton cloth soaked in brake parts cleaner. With that, it was relatively easy to clean off the area around the breather. Now here's the breather itself, and I have to say, on other cars I've seen those breathers be just a simple metal tube sticking out of the diff with a rubber or plastic cap on top. Here this outright looks over-engineered to me. We have a thread, so the whole component is threaded into the diff, and this is a 14 millimeter. When you take it out, you need a 14 millimeter. You can just slide it on top like that. It works perfectly. And the bottom part is all solid. The top cap is loose. Can give me a moment to focus. Okay, you can see how it just spins loosely. You can't really take it off. It's a permanent part of the assembly, but it spins freely and the air can just escape from underneath it. Doesn't look clogged. I mean, actually it is not clogged. You can look inside and you can tell it is definitely not clogged. There's no debris inside. But what I will do is I'll still soak this and strip down all the oils from it. I'll soak it into brake parts cleaner. Very similar approach to what I do with the acid for removing rust. I'll take a Ziploc, put the breather inside, and just spray some brake parts cleaner here. That's enough. Seal it up and just let it stay like this for a bit until all the grease comes off from the part. When I take it out, I'll film again in closer detail so you can take a closer look. Here it is after cleaning. The differential breather looks like new. This is it. All metal, solid construction. I actually like the design now that I've had the chance to explore it a bit closer. What remains now is to thread this back on top of the differential, and we'll be ready with this project. Let's move on to doing that. I started it off by hand, making sure that it's not cross-threaded, and after that I moved on to the wrench to tighten it all the way down. Hopefully you can see it here. There it is. The wrench is now on the breather. Let me take it out. You can see the breather there. That's it. tighten that down, and congratulate yourself on a job well done. All right, folks. Thank you so much, and best of luck in your projects ahead. Take care.